So, King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Pretty in Punk. I'm your host Fiona, your girly girl guide to the world of punk, rock, and everything in between. And today is definitely an everything in between day because we are talking about Australia's own King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, a band that I've been listening to for years now. I am pumped for today's episode because I'm coming off of this really awesome concert high, and I'll be recapping probably one of the coolest concert experiences I've ever had. I saw King Gizzard recently on their Phantom Island Tour. I saw one of their orchestra shows in Philly at the Mann. This was on July 28th, only a few days ago, and this was my second time seeing them live, and this show was completely different than the first time that I saw them because of the orchestra, which we will be getting into today. This was their first time they were joined by a live orchestra, and I think that King Gizzard plus an orchestra is just like an incredible music crossover, and I am so excited to get into it today. I will be breaking this down into sections. There will be timestamps, so if you are looking to just hear about one specific part, then you can go ahead and jump ahead. I get it. Sometimes you're just looking for that one key detail. So let's start off with some show details. Let's set the scene. The show took place at the Mann. They have two stages, but we were in the outdoor amphitheater and we did have seats. It's in Philadelphia, and this was my second time at the Mann. And if you've never been, it's a really cool venue, super cool layout, and I think it's the perfect vibe for a summer concert. It was so hot this day too. It was in the 90s, but we were lucky enough to have seats in the shade. Thank God. I went with my boyfriend. That's why I keep saying we. But this show was extra special because it was actually the first night of their orchestra tour. And on the tour, they were doing both rock and orchestra shows, but this was the first of the orchestra shows where they will be playing with different city-specific orchestras. So for Philly, they teamed up with the Chamber Orchestra of Philadelphia under the direction of conductor Sarah Hicks. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe she's the conductor for all the shows. I could be mistaken, but that is what I believe. So spoiler alert, though, for the set list real quick. Anytime I talk about the set list, I will let you know because I know a lot of people do like to be surprised, but just skip ahead like 20 seconds if you don't want to know what I'm about to say about the set list. So that's your warning to skip a little bit. Obviously, this tour was celebrating their newest album, their 27th studio album, Phantom Island, and they played it in full with an orchestra, which this is how this album was meant to be heard live. We will be getting more into the orchestra a little bit later. I'll have a full section on that, but I will leave it at that for now. Next up, I want to talk about my pre-show experience because honestly, this is the best tailgating experience I have ever had. So we got there extra early. We brought some drinks. We brought some snacks. Really, I'm not exaggerating when I say this is the most fun tailgating experience I've ever had. First up, we just like set up camp and we were just hanging out under a tree, found the shadiest spot, thank goodness, because it was so hot, guys. Seriously, I was dying. I was nervous about the heat. I don't do well in the heat. I'm Irish, okay? We're not made for this. But there were people playing music, everything from King Gizzard to Ozzy, of course. There were even some people jamming together with acoustic guitars. It just felt like a whole community kind of vibe. But I think my favorite part was the fact that there were vendors selling custom King Gizzard merch. There were shirts, hats, lighters, ashtrays, handmade jewelry. People were just selling jewelry like earrings and necklaces and stuff. Someone was even making tie-dye shirts, which was really cool. And I actually did end up buying a Christmas ornament for my collection, which I will show you real quick. And I'll put the name of the seller on the screen because I ended up following her on Instagram. I did get this Christmas ornament. I collect Christmas ornaments. If you're watching on video, you can see. I thought it was really cool. It was made with epoxy. I absolutely loved it. And my boyfriend got something from the same vendor. So I'll insert a picture of that because I don't have it here. So people set up tents and these pop-up shops, and people were even hanging up King Gizzard flags. My boyfriend got a free keychain because someone liked his Amel and the Sniffers shirt. I mean, it was just this awesome exchange and community of people who share a common ground and a similar interest in art and music. It was such a cool vibe, just like peace and love, camaraderie, creativity, and this common love for this band, and just everyone being excited to see a band that they loved. I thought it seriously was the coolest tailgating experience I ever had. The first time we saw King Gizzard, we were running super, super late. It was super stressful. We were stuck in so much traffic, and we got to the venue only 10 minutes before they went on stage. Didn't get to see the opener, unfortunately. So we didn't get this whole tailgating experience, but honestly, I'm so happy that I got to experience it now. I tailgated for other shows where we just sit in the back of someone's truck and have a few drinks and play music, but nothing compares to this. This is something so special, and if you do get a chance to see King Gizzard, I highly recommend. As for the venue, the Mann itself, it's super solid. It's a huge venue, and the lines move fast, which I really appreciate. It was just super fast and efficient. I thought the staff were really kind and really nice. And then when you actually get to your seats, there are lawn seats, but the seating is actually tiered, which I love. We were in row KK, and our view was fantastic. Even though we were a little further back, we still had such a clear view of the entire band and the entire stage, and we could see the screens clearly as well. So the sound quality at this venue is also great. I could hear everything perfectly clear, and considering there were so many musicians up on that stage, that was great. That was a huge plus. One downside about this venue is that the drinks and the food are so expensive, but I mean, what can you expect? Usually venues like that like to upcharge the hell out of prices. So that is a reason why we tailgated, because we were like, let's just drink and get food before. But, you know, I think that also adds to the tailgating experience. So, but other than the prices, you know, I don't even remember how much I got an Italian ice because I was dying of heat. I don't even know how much I spent on that. I'll have to look back and see, but I mean, other than that, A+ experience from the Mann. Again, second time there, and absolutely loved it. I will go there any day for any concert. Okay, we've made it to a part that I'm sure a lot of you are eager to hear about, and that is the set list. Spoiler alert, warning, PSA, if you do not want to hear the full set list, skip ahead. I'll put a timestamp on the screen. It'll also be in the description as to when you should skip ahead, because truly, if you don't want to know, I like being surprised too at a lot of shows that I go to. So if you don't want to know, please skip ahead. So that is your warning. Skip ahead now. Anyway, let's get into it. So the show started around 8:30, and the first 45-ish minutes of the show was Phantom Island in full. Again, as I said, this tour was celebrating this newest release, and it was backed by the full orchestra, the Chamber Orchestra of Philadelphia. I'll be going into way more detail about the orchestra in a minute, but overall, stunning. Once they were done playing Phantom Island, the orchestra ended up leaving the stage, and of course, in typical King Gizzard fashion, they launched into this jam that then led into the dripping tap. And it felt like an intermission without actually being one. So it was the perfect time for a break that wasn't really a full break, right in between the first and second half of the set. And I thought that that was the perfect way to do it for them. I mean, who doesn't love a Gizz jam? So, I thought it was very cool. And then the orchestra came back out. At this point, I didn't know what to expect. So when the orchestra came back out, I was very excited because I didn't know where it was going to go, what they were going to play. So, I mean, if you're watching this, I'm sure you know their discography is unlike any other. So truly I had no indication of where they were going to go. So I want to talk about a few highlights for me, songs that blew me away with the live orchestra. First of all, oh my god, Mars for the Rich. This is my all-time favorite King Gizzard song, and when the intro started, that opening riff, oh my god, I lost my mind. And plus the orchestra, absolutely beautiful. Perfection. If they do not come out with a live album of this, I swear, oh my god, the crowd went crazy when they played this one, and it just added this like cinematic edge to the song with the orchestra. A song that I love so much, getting to hear it this way. Oh, it was so cool. That was by far my favorite song that they played live at this show. It was such like a huge, satisfying surprise. My boyfriend and I both love this song, and we just like turned and looked at each other and we're like, oh my god, can't believe they're playing this with the orchestra. Also, they played Dragon with the orchestra, and this is one of their heavier songs. So that one with the orchestra backing, oh my god, that was sick. And the crowd went wild for that. They loved it. I mean, everyone flipped when this song came on. So that was another really big highlight for me. And then last but not least, The River. This one was just gorgeous. It's such a beautiful song to begin with, but with the strings and everything, oh my god, goosebumps hearing that live. It was so beautiful. Again, it's already a beautifully arranged song. This is another one that people like flipped out when they started playing the opening, but already beautiful. But with the orchestra, it just elevated it in the best way. Oh my god, that was definitely a standout for me. I was really, really hoping that they would include some of their heavier songs because those are some of my favorites by them, and Fest the Rat's Nest is one of my favorite albums, and they did not disappoint. I think the transitions between each song too, just so seamless, and it felt just so cohesive and thought out and well rehearsed. It was such a perfectly polished show. Okay, now for my thoughts on the orchestra itself, because this was one of the coolest, most unique things I've seen live with a band that I love. I've been to many a show, but I've never seen a band that I love with a backing orchestra live. So this was something I was so looking forward to. And I've always thought of King Gizzard. Many people think of King Gizzard as one of the most fearlessly experimental bands out there. And this show just proved that even more. I think that Phantom Island already has this huge full orchestral sound, of course, but hearing songs from that album performed live with a full orchestra just took it to the next level. The orchestra was just so tight and so polished, and it wasn't like they were just following along to a backing track. They enhanced everything, and it wasn't overbearing in any way. It was so seamless, even though they hadn't rehearsed in person until maybe like a day or two prior. To my knowledge, that's what I believe, but it didn't feel like they had just met and just came together that week. This felt like a professional, like with King Gizzard as well, a professional full orchestra that plays like 8 shows a week together. It felt so cohesive. It just went together perfectly. They just fit perfectly together, and I loved it. I think the best part was that the audience was totally with it. During the more like delicate, softer orchestral songs, people were very respectful and watching, and I loved that people weren't just like shouting out random things during a slower, quieter song. They were absorbing everything, and I think that is the best part because so many King Gizzard fans that I know, they are just music lovers, not just lovers of this band. They love music. So I think everyone was there to listen and appreciate music, which I absolutely love. But then, of course, during songs that are a little more amped up, people went crazy, jumping, cheering, yelling, singing along. I think it was the perfect mix, and I love that. All right, I know you guys want to hear it. We're going to talk about merch. I had to. So if you're watching on video, You should, because that's actually my favorite. I personally love the video versions of my podcast the best. I find them the most fun and interactive. So if you're watching on video, you can see everything on screen. I got the official tour t-shirt with the dates on the back. So I'll try and show you here. If not, I'll just insert pictures of the front and the back. I think you guys can see. I'm standing. I'm literally in pajama pants right now, but I got a large, and let me tell you, the large, this should be an XL. It's definitely oversized. And then my boyfriend also got a shirt. He got a different one than me, so I'll pop that one on screen. And then, of course, I got my little ornament, as you saw before. And then he also got a poster. Cool thing about this poster is that they have different posters for every single show, and I believe, because this one said Philly specifically, and they only printed 900 posters, and it was marked that he got number 29 out of 900, I believe. So that was really cool. So when they said on their Instagram that they only made 900 and everyone found that out, people were rushing to the merch stand to get these, but it's a really, really sick poster. It's really cool, kind of psychedelic as well. I loved it, and very colorful too. And super cool that they only printed a limited amount. So it's kind of like a limited edition exclusive tour poster for that specific show. Okay, I think we pretty much covered everything that I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to ramble. You guys know I can talk, okay? But I did want to leave some room to also add some clips in here. So I wanted to make sure that I left some breathing room when talking to add some clips throughout. But I want to give you my overall thoughts on the show, my experience. So I think for me, overall, I had a blast. I loved this concert. But what made this show different for me wasn't just the orchestra. While that was the main takeaway of this show, I think it was the sense of community before the show that really truly stood out to me. I absolutely loved the pre-show energy and the tailgating experience, and it's something that I definitely want to be a part of again. The last time I saw them, obviously it wasn't with an orchestra, so I've seen the full-on rock set, I've seen the orchestra set, and I feel as if I've gotten the best of both worlds with King Gizzard now, and it was seriously one of the most beautiful, coolest, and unique concert experiences I've ever had. The orchestra, again, so tight, so put together. The show itself was so polished, and I absolutely loved it. The set was even full of surprises that made me really, really happy. If you have not had a chance to see them on this tour, I highly, highly recommend the orchestra shows. So, so cool. It was a very, very cool experience, and I am going to be thinking about this concert for years to come. It was incredible. If you're a fan of King Gizzard, whether you are an OG fan, you're a new fan, do not miss this tour, because I think it's more than just a show. It's really a moment for them, and it's something that you're going to want to be a part of. All right, I think that's everything, but as always, I want to hear from you. So, were you at the Philly show? Are you planning to catch them somewhere else on tour? Let me know. And also let me know, do you think you would rather see an orchestra King Gizzard show or just a classic King Gizzard show? And if you've seen both, how do you think they compare? I am asking way too many questions, but I'm really curious because I want some other people's take on this. So definitely drop your thoughts in a comment below. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening, you can leave a comment on Instagram. But as always, thank you for hanging out with me, for letting me talk about all of my favorite music. If you want to follow along, you can follow me. I have an Instagram and a TikTok at Pretty in Punk Pod. I post short clips, stories, whatever. I've been really into doing polls recently on my Instagram stories. That's been kind of fun. And I'm also available on all streaming platforms and YouTube as well for video podcasts. Again, that's my personal favorite. Feel free to listen on any platform that you use, but YouTube is the most fun for me. I have the most fun putting these videos together. But again, I want to hear from you, and I really hope that you get to see them on tour. I had such a blast, and I cannot wait to see, as always, where King Gizzard goes from here. But thank you so much for listening or watching, and I will see you next week in the next episode.